right there. And 3, 2, and 1. Well, Ryan, welcome. I guess I should say first off, welcome to the region, and welcome to our Mayor's Monday here for WSAU, WSAU.com. First off, give us an idea how you liking the region so far. You've been here, what is it, about 3 months now?
Yeah, just over 3 months. So far, so well. It's been a really positive experience. Originally from Green Bay, so not too far away. It's a nice sized city.
Yeah, indeed. And I guess what have you learned about it so far that obviously attracted you to the job, and now what's maybe going to keep you here?
Yeah, what attracted me mainly was the closeness to home. So being just over an hour from home and being close to family members is a really great experience. It reminds me a lot of where I grew up. This area, the Village of Rothschild area, it's very nice. More of a residential community. It has some amenities and outdoor recreation. So it's a really positive experience thus far, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, indeed. And of course, in your position, managing the day-to-day operations of the village, you get some of that great stuff. We're going to talk about the outdoor recreation, in just a bit. Again, where your plans are with that. But first, obviously, PFAS has been on the mind of everybody in this region. I mean, there's not a single municipality that hasn't been impacted by it. How quickly did you have to get yourself up to speed on just exactly what this is, first off? And second, I mean, where's the village at as far as dealing with this?
Sure. So to getting up to speed with it, it was something that I had heard about and worked with when I was in Buffalo County, Wisconsin. We just started for well testing and things of that sort. But once I got here, it became much more immersed as we have significant ratios. I know parts per trillion wise, we're roughly about 20 parts per trillion on average here in the village, which is certainly better than other areas, and is still under the 70 parts per trillion that's required by the Health and Human Services or the state. However, it's something that's on the radar and something that we've been focusing on of how to get it to either non-detectable or zero. So, right now, the biggest things for us is looking at, do we do short-term or long-term treatment? The Water Commission in January of 2023 here started to really assess and see, okay, what's our best options and what's our best avenue to pursue as a village? And right now that is going to be long-term treatment. So for short-term wise, we are going to stick with our 20 parts per trillion. Short-term is really only 2 to 3 years as I'm talking. 3 years and beyond, we're hoping to have a facility where it is treating PFAS and has the ability to also treat our chloride issues going on. So that's something that we definitely have on our radar, and the goal is to really aim for zero parts per trillion.
Yes, because you mentioned all those numbers there. There's still a lot of up in the air unknowns as to whether it should be 70, should be 20. Will there be a national standard coming that will cancel out the state standards? We're dealing with that. Every community is, of course. So your goal then would be to get to the non-detect level, which is the current, if I remember right, it's a recommendation from the US EPA, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Yes. So how do you plan to do that?
Well, with the water treatment facility, we're actually contracting, or in the process of contracting with Becker Hoppy to create this water treatment facility. The design is roughly a $300,000 design to get the ball rolling for us. Right now we're looking at a 60 by 60 facility to house the treatment plant itself. This would be in addition to our current treatment plant that we have down by the Rothschild Pavilion. So that's what we're looking at right now.
So, and this wouldn't be an entirely new facility, it would be more of an addition to your current offerings then, right?
Well, actually, yes and no. I mean, it would be an addition to what we're currently offering, but it would be a brand new facility as well. So, but this facility would mainly focus on PFAS and chloride.
And as you mentioned to me earlier, this is kind of another one of a kind in the state, that you're the first municipality that's really looking to build something specifically for PFAS.
Yeah, so for statewide, I'm not sure, but regionally, at least within the small area of Wausau and a little bit greater beyond, yes, we're one of the first to be looking at just one treatment facility that would do PFAS itself. So I know others are looking at short-term options on how to treat it itself, but we're looking more at that long-term and putting up a facility that's going to last decades and decades and really treat the customers the way they should be, customers as in our residents, and giving them the water that they deserve.
Absolutely. So then, you mentioned the cost of this. Where are we at on this project, and maybe getting this moving forward?
Yeah, so we're in the very early stages right now. We as a village try to get ahead of the curve and be proactive about the entire situation. And really the hopes are that we can have this facility up and running, I would think within less than 10 years, certainly, if we continue on with these plans. Where we're at right now is just signing contracts with Becker Hoppy to initiate that process, to show us what that design would look like, show us the footprint, show us the layout, and go from there.
So then, of course, the million-dollar question is, what is this going to do for the ratepayers, or is that unknown yet as you get these contracts signed and figure out how much this is going to cost?
Yeah, so right now, it certainly will likely increase, no doubt about that. We're hoping to keep it at a minimum. Our goal is to keep it less than $20 per month difference, what they're at right now. However, there is some give and take with that. It depends upon what standards come out, what regulations come out, what that facility looks like, the lead time on projects when you're actually building it, how working with contractors. There's a lot of up in the air, especially with the current market and current economy. So there's a lot of variables right now,
right.
But our first goal is to get that plan in, to be proactive, to apply for grants, and really treat the residents the way they should be treated with the safe water.
Indeed. Well, we'll look forward to seeing where this goes then over the next few years, but you mentioned the economy and cost of projects and things like that. Obviously, that's impacting everybody, everywhere, and that includes some of your street projects, because you've got a few coming up for the year ahead. So give us an idea of what those are and how that's been handled as far as contracting out and what those costs are going to be.
Sure. So biggest project I would say coming up in 2023 for streetwise within the village of Rothschild is going to be the Elm Hewitt, which is just west of Grand Avenue over here. For contracting wise, that's something we're actually in the process right now, so we're starting to reach out and work with contractors to see when we can get those bids done. We're hoping to do this in the summer is the goal, but sometimes those do get pushed back to fall, as you guys know. So right now, the main focus is trying to get it completed and get it done within this calendar year. It's going to be a significant project because you are working with the railroad a bit as well. So making sure that we have the village standards, the 5-foot sidewalks. So instead of 4, we're going with 5. I know, and it helps with ADA accessibility. Really, 2 individuals walking with each other, on a 4-foot sidewalk, sometimes that can get a little close. So trying to stay with that 5-foot and more aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're running into some of those same issues, though. Supply chain, costs, materials going up, and things like that. So is that something that you're hearing from these contractors as you're working with them?
Well, that's what the issue was of that. Yes, in the fall of 22, the bids have not come back yet for 2023 for this project quite yet. However, it's something that we certainly have budgeted for. We try to go a bit higher than even average for a project like this, just to be safe in the event that the unknown happens and this continues to go in a direction that is not budget friendly.
Yeah, indeed. And because, again, this is something that was part of the village's plan before you got here. It's not like you got here, drove down the street and said, well, I'm the administrator, I don't like this, let's change it.
Right.
Some people might like to think that you have that kind of power. I'm sure maybe sometimes you wish you did, but that's not exactly the way it works here in government.
No.
This is something that has been on the village's radar for a while, and that I'm sure you've probably seen and realized, yeah, we got to get this done.
Correct. Yes.
So again, the timeline on that still unknown at this point, right?
It's still unknown. It's definitely, the goal is to have it all completed within 2023, though. And I don't foresee any hiccups that wouldn't prevent that. So my hope is that yes, it is completed in 2023.
So then, just exactly what is it that makes this project so important?
It's important because we're updating the sidewalks, and it's going to be changing actually how that area looks a little bit, because the road may be shifting depending upon how that design comes back. That center line of that road may shift a little bit, so you're going to be working with approaches from the railroad. So that's why it's important.
Absolutely. And then we'll look forward to seeing where that goes as well. But now to the fun stuff, the outdoor recreations, which again, you said part of the reason that you're here. I guess first off, personally, what is your favorite part about being in this area and the outdoor recreations? I'm sure you've probably been to Rib Mountain
Yes.
as well to explore that area. What's the favorite part of it so far?
The biggest part for me is the amount of outdoor recreation in the area. I really like the Dells of Eau Claire. It's a really beautiful area. Rib Mountain, 9 Mile, and really the village of Rothschild. You know, we have parks, but we don't have a large park like we can certainly have in that Cedar Creek recreation area. We have a couple hundred acres that are owned by the village currently, and that is rather underutilized. So we're looking at finding ways to drive outdoor recreation and get individuals out and about, and have it accessible right in their back door. So with the outdoor rec plan in the Cedar Creek area, the biggest focus is really going to be hiking and biking, with the thought always in mind of ADA accessibility. Right now it's a huge push not only in the housing industry for ADA accessibility and accessible homes, but we also want to push for that in our trails. So having that ability for individuals with disabilities to utilize these trails and see the kind of the beauty and the nature that the Rothschild village has to offer, especially in that Cedar Creek area. So that's the main drive and the main focus of that area.
Yeah, and I know there's also an area there where you're looking at a dog park, which is of course what everybody wants these days. You hear as much about dog parks as you do about people parks, it seems.
Sure.
From some times. So give us an idea where you're at with that project.
Yeah, so the dog park actually will be at the Gasca Park, which is just down the street from where the Cedar Creek recreation area is. However, the dog park right now, we're kind of in a standstill. We've started to draw up some lines. It was approved by the Outdoor Rec Committee in the fall of 2022, with the hopes of May to June of 2023 to have that completed. There will be two sections. One will be for larger dogs and one will be for smaller dogs. They'll be fenced in. They will actually have trees in the dog park itself, so it won't be just a flat open area per se. We want to keep it a little bit more natural and really bring out what the village has to offer, and that's a lot of trees. So we are a tree village, a tree city.
Indeed, and I know that there's always been the goal as well to make sure that that park is connected to the trail system, so you can take the dog on a walk from somewhere else in the village and have the end destination be the dog park itself. So there is that goal as well, right?
Absolutely, and one of the main goals as well, as you mentioned, for connectivity is to get the Mountain Bay State Trail bike trail when it crosses over from the village of Weston, coming over the bridge along Birch Street there, to eventually have that run through the Cedar Creek recreational area and then cross over the Wisconsin River and continue on. So that's kind of the long-term goal, but it's a neat goal for connectivity onto the west side of the Wisconsin River.
And what is the most important thing then about outdoor recreation? If somebody's looking at this and they say, well, do we really need to invest all kinds of taxpayer money into this? What's your response to that? Why is it so important?
I think the importance comes from preserving the natural beauty that the village has to offer in the area. I think many of us, especially in today's society and world, we can get so caught up in that day-to-day lives of errands or dropping off students or kids or what have you, and you kind of forget to enjoy what's around you. So this is kind of a way to take a step back, promote health, promote wellness, promote relaxation and that peace of mind, and give that to our residents.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate the time, Administrator Ryan. We'll certainly look forward to chatting with you in the near future as well.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
There we go.